everybody, and welcome back to the Brickazoid's Den. Today is Saturday, so you know that is Owl House Day, and wow, this episode was so good. This may be my favorite episode of Owl House of all time so far, because this was, insane. It was so good. There was so many good action sequences. There was a lot of Amity and Lou's stuff. We have a whole group now that's kind of going to be our main characters, I would suspect, for the duration of the Day of Unity and the final episodes of this show. It really just established a very strong start to, I believe, will be a wild kind of finale for this season, as well as continuing into the 45-minute episodes of season 3. Because this episode was just so good. It just set all the groundwork, and it just did a great job of it, and it was just, again, incredible. I really enjoyed this episode so much. Again, it could be my favorite of all time, because there was just so much good stuff. It literally had everything that you want in an Owl House episode. It had Luz and Amity stuff, it had great fight sequences, great storyline, still built up that anticipation for the Day of Unity coming, and I guess will probably be next week's episode, which is the finale of Season 2. And then we got, like I said, we have the 45-minute episodes for Season 3, but wow, I do want to get into the breakdown right now, because I just want to talk about it, because I am so excited. I forgot to mention in the intro, but the episode's called Clouds on the Horizon, but we're going to start with the opening here, and basically Belos, the Belos' door seems to be powered up, so he's going to be able to enact the Day of Unity very soon, and the Collector comes out and talks to Belos about how he hasn't been in the human realm in hundreds of years, and the Collector cannot wait to be freed as the Day of Unity is about to begin, and we get this shot that kind of pans out, showing that Belos and the Collector are in the Titan's head, or the Boiling Isles Titan's head, which is crazy. So obviously, again, this is where the Day of Unity is going to be held, and this is where everything's going to happen, and that's really exciting. That gets me anticipated and very, very nervous yet excited, because there's some stuff in this episode that was set up that I'm a little worried about the safety of some of our characters here going into the finale of Season 2. So we'll have to see what happens there. But yeah, this was mainly just kind of setting up just continuing the Day of Unity preparation kind of ceremonies, just kind of showing a different view of it and showing how close we are to actually having it begin. But the rest of the episode more kind of takes a different turn and goes for something else more Amity related, which again, could be my favorite episode. I know I keep saying that, but anyways. Alrighty, so now let's get into the plot line of this episode, because again, this is a good one. So we start off with Odalia, who's giving Kikimora a shipment of abomatons. Now these are, machines that were already established in previous episodes with Amity and the Blight family. That rhymed. Amity, Edric, and Emera are watching from afar, kind of hiding behind some, trash or something like that, contemplating talking to Odalia about the draining spell to tell her that she is helping people get hurt. Alidor is suspicious already of the Day of Unity, but Odalia has Alidor hooked with a threat of losing his job or something. I didn't completely get that part, but I'll kind of go over it as we go through these notes here. So Odalia finds where Amity, Edric, and Emera are actually hiding, and Amity becomes grounded. Meanwhile, at the Resistance base, Ida is trying to hide the fact that King is a Titan from the other Resistance members, even though King kind of wants to wear that proudly, but Ida's kind of making him silence it a little bit. Ida's curse magic we learn that can interrupt the draining spell. So basically what they were saying was that when Ida was using the Bard Coven magic, I think it was, I don't know, she was making a song with Rain, and they were making this song, and Ida's curse was kind of corrupting the bard magic that was coming out of the music. So they're saying, basically the Resistance members are saying that Ida's curse magic will be able to interrupt the draining spell if they were to do a similar kind of thing that they did before. So Ida is going to get a bard sigil and become the new coven head to get into the Day of Unity easier. So yeah, it gets explained later. Actually, I was going to try and explain it, but I'll explain it later when we get to that part. But Rain is very worried about Ida taking the sigil, because then that means Ida can't really use any other kind of wild magic, even though Ida isn't really able to use any kind of wild magic. Still, the idea if Ida was ever to lose the curse, then Ida would be stuck without being able to use wild magic anyway. So Luz is worried about Amity with her being grounded and all because she got like a little message, and we also learned that Luz carved an egg so her talisman could hatch out of it. I guess I never knew that you could really do that. You could carve an egg and then have it hatch a talisman that just is randomly selected. I don't know exactly how that works. I guess that wasn't really touched upon. I don't remember, but that is interesting. That is interesting. So Luz wants to go on a rescue mission to save Amity from being grounded, and then Ida, Luz, and King. I wanted to mention this. Have a nice moment. Like they have a very family kind of moment. They're all like throwing jokes and laughing and things like that. And this is worrying me because then there's a thing right after this. Luz tells Rain to promise to keep Ida safe, and I feel like that's foreshadowing that something's going to happen to Ida because Ida's probably going to is the one who's probably most unsafe, is in the most danger right now because Ida is infiltrating the Day of Unity to get a sigil or to stop it. So I'm a little worried about Ida right now because of the nice moment and then Luz telling Rain to promise to keep Ida safe. And I feel like that's foreshadowing maybe a not great thing that's gonna happen to Ida. I don't know what it is yet though. So Luz gets a security escort, quote unquote, to go to Amity's house, but it ends up just being Hunter, Willow, and Gus. So it seems like they kind of got in talks with the Resistance. Hunter talks with Luz because Hunter doesn't want Willow and Gus to know about him being a Grimwalker, just like Luz hasn't told Willow and Gus that she was the one who kind of pushed Belos to be who he is. So I also want to mention this little quick note as well. Gus is actually using the illusionist mirror that he got from Adrian. I forget his last name though. I don't remember his last name, but I think it was Adrian something. That illusionist mirror to see Coven guards hiding. So if Coven guards ever use illusionist magic to make themselves go invisible, Gus will be able to see it, which is pretty cool. It's like basically see through the illusion. So that's pretty cool. The group also, they basically infiltrate the Blight Manor, take down an Abomaton, and it was, again, very cool fight scene. All the fight scenes in this episode were incredible, especially the final one, which, again, we're going to get to. Meanwhile, in Blight Manor, while all this is taking place, Amity is shown to be super worried about Luz, and then Luz shows up on Amity's balcony, and we finally get a full-blown Luz and Amity kiss, which is incredible. I was like, oh, wait, I didn't think that was going to happen yet, because I didn't even think about, like, we've been mainly focusing on a lot of, like, deep, Emperor's Coven storyline and stuff like that, I completely forgot about a lot of the Luz and Amity kind of stuff that happened in the previous episodes and as well as last season, so to kind of have that be brought back this way and have Luz and Amity finally kiss after so long is incredible. It was a very good moment. And then Luz says that she will help Amity tell her parents about the spell. So, again, this is already on a great note. We are, again, Luz and Amity moments as well as a great fight scene. And, again, the final fight scene is incredible. Then back at back on the flying airship. It reminded me a lot of Avatar: The Last Airbender in like the finale of the show where Sokka and I think was it Zuko were fighting a bunch of people or was it Suki? I think I don't remember, but they were all fighting people on the airship. This kind of reminded me of that too, because Ida and Rain and the Resistance and these Emperor Coven people are all flying on like airships as well. So, anyways. Ida isn't going to be able to practice wild magic again with the sigil now, and Ida is giving a cloaking stone, which turns her into Rain, and then Ida is given a sigil as well to be a Bard Coven head. Kikimora shows up again for another shipment of Abomatons back at the Blight facility, I don't know what you would call it. And then we see Luz, Hunter, Gus, Willow, King, and Amity disguise themselves in Coven Guard clothing. But Luz doesn't want King to head into danger, even though he wants to help, so King has to kind of sit this one out. But King hears the Collector's voice in his head, so clearly the Collector is still within King, still has that connection to him after the events of Edge of the World, where King kind of has like a, I don't know, what would you call it, like a he gets like the connection, I guess, with the collector, I guess, so he can hear him in his head basically. And then King sees a trail of like snack bags and follows them. So Adalia made a new Abomaton for Kikimora, like a super powered up one. And then this part confused me for a second. I don't know, maybe I missed it in the explanation, but basically, Luz and Amity, and I think the rest of the group, go look into the windows of Alador's workshop to go see if he's there, and to try and convince him to be, on their side. But then we see that Alador was like turned into a rat, and he was eating food. Anyways, Odalia catches the group looking into Alador's workshop, but Hunter gets them out of it with his, he was a part of the Emperor's Coven kind of deal, like, he knows what to say, basically. But either way, the group gets caught, and then we go back to the Ida and Rain situation, where we see Wild Witches being sent to the Conformatorium, captured and being sent there. And then we also cut to another scene here, where King and Alador kind of have a chit-chat. We learn that Alador has fire flu, and Alador wants Odalia to stop making him work because he wants to spend more time with his kids. Although, again, I don't know why he turned to a rat and why he's eating so much. I must have missed that in the explanation, but I'll probably go back through the episode and rewatch it because I love it so much. But anyways, Odalia ends up capturing the kids. Amity breaks out of the abomination cuffs, and I wanted to just mention this because it seems that Amity is very, very strong when it comes to the abomination kind of powers and abilities, because she was able to break out of those cuffs when no one else really could. So it seems like all of our main characters, or our main group, Gus, Willow, Amity, etc., they're all like masters at their abilities. Because of course we saw Gus being able to use an illusion across the entire school. Willow is shown to be a super powerful witch when it comes to plant coven system, whatever. And then also Amity is now shown to be extremely powerful when it comes to abomination magic, I guess. Because even Odalia seemed to be surprised. So anyways, Amity breaks out of the abomination cuffs, and then Kikimora says that the Emperor knows about Ida trying to sneak into the Day of Unity. So obviously that's pretty bad too, because that means Ida's cover's blown. This also kind of continues to push the idea that maybe something bad will happen to Ida because they caught her at this point. But luckily, Alador shows up to free the kids, and he was kind of told everything by King, and Odalia, her reasoning to what she knew, by the way, she knew that they were going to be what the Day of Unity was all about, and still went along with it anyway, because Odalia wants to live like royalty, and that's all she's focused on. So Odalia is just like a terrible person. Alador has this whole redemption arc across the season, and Odalia is just terrible. She's bad. She's bad news the entire time. So the whole group fights Kikimora and her Abomaton, as well as Odalia. This was the fight scene that I'm talking about. This is that final fight scene, and it was just so well done. We have, each character was able to kind of shine in their own way in this fight. Willow was able to use her plant magic to take down Kikimora's Abomaton, and then we see Amity using her abomination magic. Alador versus Odalia happened. Just a really great fight scene. You'll have to see it. I obviously can't really explain a fight scene and make you kind of see how everything happened, but go watch it because it's really cool. If you haven't watched the episode yet, or you haven't seen the show, you're just kind of getting a feel. I don't know why you're here then, because this is all spoilers, but you know what I'm saying. Very good fight scene, super well done, great episode. Anyways, we see that Hunter was taken by Kikimora, so that's not good, obviously. And then Alador. So in the final kind of fight, I guess, final confrontation, Alador is basically against Odalia here, and he begins destroying the facility to stop Odalia, basically. He begins destroying his own creations to stop her, and then she kind of explains that, he was like, I quit working for you, whatever, and she's like, okay, I'm going to go find someone who's a better suitor or something like that. I don't know, she's weird. But anyways, the final thing that kind of happens here, that's like the big thing at the end of the episode, is that Gus had used an illusion to make Hunter be, the illusion that Hunter is Luz and Luz is Hunter. So Luz was actually the one taken by Kikimora to go straight to Belos. So obviously that's going to be picked up in the finale episode, which is next week. And that's also really bad. That is that was probably not the best decision, I gotta be honest with you. I know Luz is very worried about Ida, because Ida was basically caught at this point. We just haven't seen it yet. But you're going straight to Belos. That's like Belos is gonna notice that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that did happen there. All right, so that was Clouds. Was it Clouds? Clouds on the horizon. And yeah, I mean, Alador full redemption. I'm completely okay with it. I mean, I liked him from when we saw him in episode 2 of season 2, but I know there was like some things because he was always following Odalia, but now he's completely redeemed. I am completely on board with Alador. I'm glad that he's helping everybody, helping the kids, and he just wants to be a part of his kids' lives. That's all he wants. But Odalia is just being, terrible. So glad Odalia is gone, or she's probably going to show up at some point again with some crazy magic. I don't know what's going to happen with her, but she seemed to be kind of like, her storyline was kind of wrapped up, it seemed. I don't know if she's going to like join the Emperor's Coven or something like that, or if she's going to just run away, but we'll have to see obviously later on. That'll probably be a season 3 thing. I don't think she's going to show up in next episode, but we also have the Day of Unity basically beginning. It started at this point, I would say, or is about to start, and probably next week it is going to start, but there is that as well. There's just, again, very good episode. Literally had everything I wanted for an Owl House episode. It got a lot of our characters, our main characters that we've known and have watched over, the seasons, and they brought them all together so that they could help take down, save Amity, take down Odalia, whatever. But also, it seems like this is, like I said before, this is going to be our group for the finale episode, which is super exciting. Or this might just be a Luz versus Belos situation, because Luz is just going to go straight to Belos here. Also, I am super worried about Ida in this show, because Ida has obviously been caught at this point, like I said before, by Kikimora. We just have not seen that yet. So, I'm worried about what's going to happen to Ida. I don't know if there's going to be like a big season 2, finale of the season kind of deal where something bad happens to Ida. I won't say it just because I don't want to, but, yeah, I mean, well, I don't know if they would. I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. I guess we'll have to see, because they did a lot of like really nice moments in this episode with Ida, Luz, and King, and then they had Luz and King kind of go off on their own adventure while Ida was taking on like the most dangerous role here. And yeah, I don't know. Well, obviously, next week we'll probably find out, but I am a little worried about Ida. I don't know if it's just gonna be another thing where she gets captured and that's it, or if something more is going to happen. We'll have to see. But it was great to see, Hunter, Willow, and Gus once again. Hunter kind of understands that he's a Grimwalker, but doesn't want to say anything to Willow and Gus. And Amity, or I guess, well, yeah, Willow and Gus, I guess, as well as Amity. But also, from Luz's point of view, not saying that she was basically a catalyst for Belos's turn into Emperor Belos, I guess. Or Philip Whittabean's turn into Emperor Belos. And, yeah, that's probably going to come back and be a pretty bad situation, I would say, where Luz has to basically explain that she was one of the causes for Belos's turn, and especially to people as close as Amity, Willow, and Gus. So we'll have to see how that goes down. I don't think that's going to be next week, but we'll have to see. I'm trying to see if there's anything else here. But I think that was really it. There's not a lot of things. Luz's talisman is an egg. That's right. So I wonder what it's going to hatch into then. Because Luz was kind of explaining how, like, she was able to choose her journey, I guess, and now wants this creature to choose, or this talisman to choose its own journey alongside. I don't know exactly what it was. I couldn't quote it, verbatim. But it is interesting how she carved an egg so that some sort of creature could hatch out of it. So I guess it's still a mystery what her talisman is going to be. But yeah, other than that, I think that was really it that I wanted to talk about. There's not a lot of theories or any theorizing that I could do for this episode, because we do kind of have a lot of stuff explained. But again, this could be my favorite episode of all time when it comes to the Owl House, because this was just so well done, and I cannot wait for next week. That's the finale, season 2 finale. Super worried, super excited, and I can't wait to see what happens next. So if you enjoyed that video, do the common YouTube stuff, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys later.